Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with jazz drummer William Hooker. During an interview that focused on the present and the future, we spoke about his newest and very well-received 2019 CD called Symphony of Flowers. We also delved into his life as an artist, who he thinks he is, upcoming projects, and a projected spring swing through Kansas City. So please get to know him and dig this interview, my friends.
Kansas City, is actually doing quite well. It used to be kind of a springboard. Now it seems to be more of a destination. There's clubs that are popping up all over the place. Cats are happy. People are coming in from out of town. So, yeah, Kansas City is definitely swinging the way people were used to it swinging back in the day.
Well, all right then. So that means that even after this conversation, we'll communicate and I'll find out what the situation is because I intend to be coming out there. I think either in April or May or something like that. I want to do a Midwest situation.
Right on.
So what are you thinking? What's on your mind today?
Well, I came across your album. Actually, I was on Downbeat. I've been doing my show now for quite a while, and I always try to keep a beat on what's going on out there. And, I was really allured by the sound and by the vibe. So I'm curious, Symphony of Flowers, talk to me a little bit about what was your artistic vision with this project?
All right, then. That's very interesting. I don't know if you got the publicity blurb that XO sent out. You might not have. Maybe you just got the recording. But inside of that publicity blurb, I wrote an entire statement about what my intention was about this album because I knew a lot about this LP because I knew a lot of people would be confused as to how I was perceiving both what a symphony is as well as how the three events all connect. I knew that if I threw out a rope or something, I knew that there would be people like yourself that would grab it and they would understand with a little bit more clarity about what I was doing. So I can send that to you as well. And then you'll have the statement. It's an actual, written out statement as to what I wanted to do. But back to your question. I end that statement by saying drum to percussive drum because my instrument is the drum, and it was written in terms of its conception, the three different events that happen. They were all written with the drum in mind as the main instrument I was trying to deal with, and I wanted to deal with it in an ensemble. Drum ensemble, and also an acoustic situation where the piano and tenor, and then lastly the electronic situation. And so that's basically what I've put together as my interpretation of the symphony. But I think that if you do read that, which I'm going to send it to you, you'll get even more an in-depth understanding of what I've done, and I think it helps.
So let's figure out how you arrived where you're at today. You grew up in New Britain, Connecticut.
Let me ask you, I don't want to cut you off, but I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
Did you listen to the entire record?
I listened to probably 3 tracks on there. I didn't listen all the way through. I probably should have, but I got enough of a flavor where I felt like this was something that I really wanted to talk to you about. Okay,
and what pieces did you listen to, or do you remember? Did you listen? Yeah, go.
The top
Please.
3 pieces, the first 3 songs.
Oh, no. You'd understand. I can understand you're asking that question.
Yeah.
And I want to go back to that question. This is an entire work. Joe, This is a signature work of mine. It's a signature work. I mean, you're actually taken into, from beginning to end, a conception. Each event segues into the next and overlays the next. So it's imperative that you listen to the entire record. I mean, seriously. You only listen to 1/3 of the concept. And the 1/3 of the concept that you listen to deals specifically with a drum ensemble.
Yeah.
If I'm correct. And
yeah.
The second, and this segues into an acoustic event. And the acoustic event is acoustic piano, myself, and then we add, on top of that, we add tenor saxophone. And then that segues into a total electronic event where I use computer, synthesizer, theremin, drums, 2 alto saxophone players, piano, guitar, and that ends the album. You must listen to the entire thing. That's the reason why I asked this question, because you'll understand that. I don't want to go back to New Britain right now. I really want to deal with getting this clear to you. And then if you get the LP or whatever, I think that you should.
Yeah.
And I'm not just trying to sell merchandise right here, but I think that the people at Org Music have done a really, really beautiful, exquisite job in terms of packaging, because you open it up and you'll read my poetry as well.
Yeah.
And you know the difference between like an LP and a CD. So you'll see it. You'll see it. It's really thoroughly clear, and I did all the photography as well. So this is what I mean by a signature piece. So it's not...
and I'm a vinyl guy myself, so I like that experience, so I'm going to have to make sure to do this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a rendezvous with you, and I want to get back with you about this album after I do it in the intended way and the right...
Thank you, Joe. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, really, seriously, because I've got to admit, Downbeat, the person that wrote the review in Downbeat, which I didn't expect, but the people at Org told me it was there, this guy got it. He listened to the whole thing. I could tell. He got it. He understood it. He got it because he did what was necessary. He listened. That's what it's for. It's he listened. And I'm really happy that he did. Let me ask you a question, and hopefully I'm not imposing my will on this conversation. I don't want to go back to when I was born. I don't want to go back to what started me to play this music. I don't want to go back to that. The reason why I don't want to go back to that is because there is an extensive interview, the best one I've ever made in life. It's under something called thetrove.com. The Trove is a writer from D.C. She visited me 5 times. We actually walked throughout Manhattan. She visited my home. She took extensive photography. She asked me a lot of questions. If people want to know any of those things, I suggest they go into the Trove. It's the best interview that's ever been done of me. And my son and my wife will verify that statement. So it's not just me just like, oh, he's promoting himself. No, but, they told me she killed it. I mean, really killed it. And I'm going to see her this Sunday. I'm going into Washington. So I only say that because I know that probably your time is limited and my time is limited, and I don't want to deal with the past right now. I really don't. I'm really excited and focused on what is either happening right now or what is going to be coming up. I'm excited about it. Yes, Joe. What else can I say? What? Now that I've directed,
No, you're cool. You're dealing with somebody that probably believes more in existentialism than anything else. So I appreciate the waiting for Godot notion, and I do believe that looking forward is actually one of the better ways of living your life. So I respect it. So let's do this. I want to get this album. While we were talking, I'm on Amazon. I'm going to get it. I'm going to bring it in. I'm going to listen to it. I want to craft some questions. I want you to tell me what you think is applicable, what's not. Let's craft this way the right way so that when we get on the phone and we do this, we're doing it properly, we're doing it the right way, and we're not going to overstep any boundaries or go into the past. We're going to look into the future. We're going to say, what's up? We're going to cover you as a musician and a poet.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm with it, As a matter of fact, Joe, you know what I thought? I really thought that this was going to be the interview right here now that we're doing.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Because I like spontaneity as well. And I thought that once I told you how I'm feeling about this album and how I'm feeling about what's going to be coming up, because, and you can ask me that question, what is going to be coming up? All right, yeah, but I thought that right now was going to be the interview, which I'm glad that, I'm glad we're establishing, getting a relationship developed. I'm glad.
Yeah, no, in fact, I'm all for doing right now and in the future. So let's just do this.
Yeah.
What's coming up for you? What are you looking at next?
Based on the things that have happened, well, tonight I'm going to be going to a presentation of a film that I did with the iconic Phil Niblock. We did a film together, and this is the second presentation of it, and it's going to be given at the Fridlin Gallery, which is at Bowery in Delancey, doing the movie. And what has happened with the movie in its many incarnations is, first we did the movie, and then he added a live soundtrack of my own solo on top of that. And tonight I'm playing with the movie, the live soundtrack, and I'll be playing live. And that is how I'm spending my day. I'm getting ready for this. And Phil Niblock, I don't know if you know anything about him. He's an iconic filmmaker. We have a movie. We made a movie. And so I'm doing that tonight. And then Sunday I go to D.C., and I do a solo performance at a place called Rhizome. I'll be using a 3D animated film with that solo presentation. And then after that, there are a number of gigs that are going to happen, and they are all centered around Symphony of Flowers, because I'm using musicians that have all played on the record and in different combinations. And so that's what's going to be happening in and around the New York, Brooklyn area. I'm getting prepared for a major thing I'm going to be doing, I think, at Roulette, New York City. It's my third interdisciplinary piece, and it's called Touch, Soul, and Service. And I'm using a completely different company. I'm doing images, and my first two that were done, one was about James Baldwin. That was a James Baldwin suite. That was done with one company. The second was The Great Migration. That was done with another company. And now I have the last company with this one, and that's going to happen in March. So I'm really focusing on that as well. I have a dancer. I have images. I have electronics. I have a lot of things going on with that one. And so I'm really thinking about that. I'm thinking about it and writing poetry for it and writing the music for it. And that's what's happening. And just feeling good about the fact that I think the people have listened to this record so far, and it's only been out for a week. It's only been out for a week. It's kind of surprising, actually. The way that org has set up what they've set up for it, and I'm really grateful. I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for the artists that I'm working with on this album. Really, really grateful for them. They're heavy people. That's what's coming up within the next, I'd say, 2.5 months or 3 months or so. And also you and I are going to be having Christmas, and we're going to have New Year's, and what else can you, how much happiness can you get, right, Joe?
Yes, this is
Yeah, that's what's happening.
Right on. So speaking of happiness, you're clearly a creator. It's a part of, obviously, what you do as a musician, as a poet. What do you like the best about creating?
The joy that it gives me after we've gone through all of the preliminary logistics, trying to transfer the idea of what I have in mind to the many players or to the places that I'm going to do the presentation. I really love the feeling of that joy that happens after all those things happen. And I kind of live for that. I won't say I live for that. I mean, I have a family and I love them and everything. But I'm saying in terms of like this creative process of making music and writing poetry and all that kind of stuff. It's the joy that comes with it. I mean, it's a gift. It's really a gift. It's a gift being creative gives you. I try to use it every time that I can, and I try to have a clear mind about what I'm trying to do. Either I can change and I can get something from it, and by doing that, I give you guys something from it. And that's what it's about for me.
Beautiful. So I want to get to the essence of you, and this is something that I always save for the last, but it kind of gets to the heart of who who artists are and who musicians are. And everyone has a perception of you, your family, your friends, your fans. But you know yourself. You're living your life. Who do you think you are?
That's a very, very profound question. I could talk about it in many different dimensions. I think that I'm a vessel through which a lot of creative energies go through, a lot of very, very energized energies go through, and I'm a vessel of light. I mean, if everything is electricity and everything is light, I really feel as if I'm just a part of that. And I'm not the total thing of it. I am a light within a greater light. That's the way I see myself. I'm just trying to stay in tune with that, because I think that that's the best way for me to be able to experience what it is to be here on this earth right now, in this body. And I hope that that's not too esoteric for people, but I really do hope that they can see through my recordings that I've done and some of my presentations, this is who I conceive myself to be. That's why I put out records like Shambhala. I put out records like Is Eternal Life, Mindfulness, Channels of Consciousness. That's what those things mean for me. So I'm just trying to be that, and then define it by and give it to you all in a very clear way through music or poetry or those kinds of things. And that's what I perceived I am in my conception of how I'm going to do this. Because it's not only just you recognize who you are. It's also a recognition of what are you going to do with it? What's the purpose of it? Why? Why? I mean, are you just born a man just to be a man and die? That's it? That's boring. I mean, to me, that's boring.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I do. I mean, that's it. So, I mean, not that I know what's coming. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying that I think that by the definition I just gave you, I'm trying to also find out the purpose for that, and to know how to best communicate that to you, another person that's here with me in this life. And there's reasons why you called me. There's reasons why that happens. Not that we'll ever know it, but I think that just it happening, we got to take advantage of it. And we have to really we have to be grateful for it. And I'm just trying to use that gratefulness to do what I have to do. That's the best way I can answer that question.
Yeah, I love that answer. That's a great answer. William, thank you for taking some time out today. I am looking forward to getting the LP, and I would love to, if you don't mind, have a follow-up specifically about this experience that I'm going to have. And again, thank you for your time today, man. I appreciate it.
Well, let me ask you a question. How did you find out about me? How did you find out about this work?
I got on Downbeat the other day, and I'm always really good about taking a look at what's out there, and that review that you talked about was right front and square. It was glowing. I have Apple Music. I downloaded the album. I immediately plugged it in, and if there's any instrument that I'm kind of a novice yet I can play at, it's the drums, and when I immediately heard what was happening, I knew there was something that was very, very good that was going on, and I delved in, and I really wanted to talk to you about it.
Well, Joe, look, all I can say is is this going to be on the air? I hope it is, and if it is, tell your fans and those people that are listening, I'm really, really glad that they're listening to this music. I'm really, really grateful that they have either listened to myself or the other great artists I have on the recordings. And I'm really looking forward to visiting you guys and also talking to you at a second time. Let's just keep this relationship going on, because I'm anxious to see what is the vibe in Kansas City. I'm anxious. I'm ready. All right?
Yes. Amen.
All right, then.
Yes.
All right, Joe. All right, now I'm going to go shopping.
Right on. Take care.
Talk to you later. All right, take care. Bye.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest cats in Connecticut, New York City, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to William for his time, music, and stories. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino on the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com. And for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.